We're on to the third hour of Fixing the Nation, one conversation at a time on NTV, Nation FM, and all our digital platforms. You can, by the way, download the app, the Nation app, on Play Store and App Store.
Yeah.
Now, something was happening overnight in Kiamaiko.
Yeah.
And this started yesterday in the morning, actually. As early as 9 a.m., they started and had issues going on throughout the day. Protests over missing youth, they turned deadly. The youth, Abdulaziz Dubamolu, who's popularly known as Zizu, whom relatives say was picked up by police on the 23rd of June near Juja Farm. Youth leader Macmillan Carrier, who was last captured on CCTV on the 20th in Mwehoko, Githurai. Michael Olo, who has also been reported missing. Now, the residents were up in arms yesterday, including family members, saying, we have not seen these guys since those last days that were seen. And we're asking the police to tell us where they are. And we want to know their whereabouts, if they can be produced. Of course, we heard from others who were saying, like the Principal Secretary for Interior, who was saying, there have been no abductions in this administration. No abductions at all. If we are seeing people who are missing, some people are actually even locking themselves up in houses so that they can create the impression that they've been abducted, which is wrong, right? Which is not the case. Now, what exactly happened? Let's listen in to some of the protesters who came out yesterday, with what they are saying in Mathare and in Kiamaiko with regards to Zizu and Maxi. Just take a listen.
Watoto wetu siku tatu hawako kwenda shule, na wazee wakongwe wako kwa nyumba wana suffocate na hii tear gas. Unajua kama mmeua kijana wetu tena mnakuja kuua wengine hapa. Wacha nikwambie. Nyinyi ndio mnafanya hii maandamano inakuwa.
Sasa ni siku 11, hatujui aliko, hakuwa na makosa. Tunauliza, hii ndiyo serikali ambayo tulichagua. Tuko na huzuni sana. Na watuambia ati tunawasumbua, kila saa tunawasumbua, lakini wakishika hawasumbuliwi.
Inauma zingine watoto wakitiona wanajiuliza baba yao. Wadanganya tu wameenda safari. Wapi tutampata akiwa hai? Sema hata ni wahalifu. Wako na right ya kufikishwa kotini.
Kuna familia mingi sana saa hizi naitisha, alikuwa anawapatia chakula, sasa hivi wakuli juu ya Zizo.
Kama kuna kitu wameshika Shizu naye wapeleke kotini.
There are no abductions under the watch of His Excellency President Ruto. And if there is anyone, of course, the law is clear and the processes are very clear. The cases that I would call them purported abduction. People sleeping or locking themselves in their bedrooms and then they go out there.
Okay, so let's get into this conversation, and our guest is here, Mariam.
Wanjiru is the co-founder of the Mathare Social Justice Center, and she'll be speaking to us about, one, this return of abductions, enforced disappearances, and how the people of informal settlements like in Kiamaiko and Mathare bear the brunt of these things unproportionately. Good morning, Wanjira.
Good morning.
Nice to have you in studio. We should have been under better circumstances. But we usually start off the day with a quote. Falaris will share it with you. You can say if you agree, disagree, if it speaks to you or no. Okay.
Karibu sana Wanjira. Our quote of the day is an African proverb, and it reads, when the roots are deep, there's no reason to fear the wind. How does that speak to you this morning?
I agree with the proverb. When we are deeply rooted, nothing can shake us. Like we are deeply rooted in our love for our country. So there's nothing that is going to shake our resolve to better this country.
I like that. I think a good place to start our conversation with you, Wanjira, would be the events of yesterday and the last couple of days in Kiamaiko. What happened?
Yesterday was a pretty unfortunate day in our country. This coming in the backdrop of the abduction of Gen Z protester Davis Lichuma. So we had gathered at Kiamaiko Community Justice Center, members of the press who are present, which was very good to give us that solidarity. Community members from Hospital Ward, where I come from, and Kiamaiko, gathered together to have this community solidarity against the abductions that have been happening in Mathare. So we had the family of Zizo, we had the family of Carrie, his parents were there, and community members who know Zizo and Carrie very well. And we spoke about their missing for 11 days, for 9 days. We spoke about how this has been a continuous trend. It is not something new in Mathare. This has been happening in Mathare before. Mama Nura Malicha was there with a poster of her child who was killed. Nura Malicha was only 17 years old when he was shot by a stray bullet and died. And up to date, we've been going to court for Nura Malicha. We have not found any justice. So the community were coming to say, we need this to stop. We need the government to take a lesser katiba. We need, if Zizo or Maxi is found to have done any wrongdoing, they need to be arrested and arraigned in court. And we started protesting. So we had two groups protesting, one for Carrie and one for Zizo. The Carrie group blocked Juja Road, and the Zizo group blocked Outer Ring Road. And the purposes of blocking the roads is so that we can amplify that there are missing persons in these particular areas, and community members are calling for their release, is so that it is known. For a good part of the protest, they were very peaceful. In fact, some police officer was accompanying us to go and link with the other group in Kiamaiko, because we wanted to do one big protest as the people of Mathare. And as we were walking very peacefully, nobody was stealing. The community members were watching out for people's safety. As we were almost getting into the other group, tear gases now began. Very massive tear gases. We really choked with Mama Carrie as we were running away from the tear gas. So some of the community members retreated, but Kiamaiko community did not stop until actually about 7:30 p.m. All these hours of running battles with the police. 2 people lost their lives in the process. 2 people were shot in the hand. A hospital got the wrath of the people, and I will explain why. So community members are asking, we are just demanding for Zizo back. We're just demanding for Maxi back. The retaliation from the government has been to kill us for asking for Maxi in Kiaji. Very, very unfortunate, and this should worry every Kenyan, because it's taking Kenya back into the Nyayo eras where young people, where Kenyans in general cannot voice their concerns. Remember also in Nanyuki, when protesters were rejecting the Ebola facility, they were also shot dead, including a high school student. So these trends that are emerging are very dangerous trends that are being set by the Kenya Kwanza regime, and it is in the interest of every Kenyan to push for the implementation of the constitution and that we uphold the rule of law.
Wanjira, you've said that you are 2 groups.
Yes.
That were approaching one central location.
Yes.
And in your group, you had the escort of police officers. That means that the police were aware.
Yes, the police were aware.
Of the planned protest.
Yes.
At what point in the police escorting you did police then start throwing tear gas, or did the tear gas come from elsewhere?
No, the police came from uniformed. The tear gas came from uniformed police. The OCS that was escorting us vanished from our side for a minute. He was, the road is like this. We are on this side protesting, heading to the other group, and he's making sure that vehicles have their side of the road so they can pass. And when we were almost reaching to the other group, because they were also a very massive number of people, just as we were a massive number of people, so the police in the middle now started firing tear gas at us. And there was, of course,
both
an
groups
altercation. No, at our group. The group in Kiamaiko was already fighting with police. There was already an altercation there. Our group was not fighting with the police at that moment. We had police escort. So when we were almost approaching that other group, and they mentioned to us, we don't want you to join that other group, because I think they would have been overwhelmed. Guys were angry. We are angry, and rightfully so. 11 days later, where is Kiaje? 8 days later, where is Zizo? So the response of the state was to hold a presser and say Maxi and Zizo have abducted themselves.
I want to go back to man. And we'll get to the state's response in just a minute.
Yeah.
But when your group was approaching, now getting closer to the other one, I know you have friends, community members, other people who are on that other side. What was happening there? At the other side of the protest?
So we did a presser together.
Yes.
As representatives of the other group. We did a presser together. But we had stationed and decided to have two groups coming to each other, and we were going to DCI headquarters to demand answers now when we are together. So what was happening is immediately after the presser, the protest began. And for a brief moment, and I was actually there with that group, for a brief moment, it was peace. We marched peacefully. Even we met with police and we told them why we are doing this, and they let us actually protest. And then I took a bike and went to join my other group, because these are my people. I've known Maxi ever since he was a little boy. I've known Maxi for a long time, and I've known him to be a very good community leader, to be a devoted Christian, to be a chairman of other youth groups. He's never been involved in any criminal activity, never been arrested, never been what you would think they would have abducted him for. So I felt like I had an obligation to be with this particular group of protesters. So I went to join them, and we were now marching to this side.
The other group that you
But now my friends were calling me and telling me, Wanjira uku kumeharibika. Tensions have started rising up. Police have started tear gassing us, and now young people are fighting back. So the altercation began. So as we were coming to join them, so we can be
one big group.
Yeah.
And then the tear gas now also finds you.
The tear gas also finds us.
I know it might be hard to recall, when did the bullets start flying? I know it's hard to tell in a time like that.
Yeah, but it was around 2
p.m.
2 p.m.
And you said 2 people were shot dead. 2 others?
Yes, one person died on the spot. He had a gunshot to the head. The other person died on the way to the hospital. He had a wound to the chest. And I know you've seen the pictures of the hospital that was vandalized. And what actually happened at that moment is, when he was shot in the chest, people rushed him to the nearest hospital, that hospital. But that hospital locked its door on the protester that was shot. This angered the people. I mean, you can tell emotions are high. And then the ambulance was right there. So community members are like, ambulance ndo hii. Kama waizi mtreat, mbona wasimpeleke? Mali anaweza treatiwa. So the anger was then again turned into that hospital. So that's what happened regarding that situation. And this young person was actually shielding a pregnant woman from the police. So the anger was even multiplied. Like, can he just get help? So he didn't make it, and he died on his way to the hospital. 2 other people are nursing gunshot wounds. And the whole day, I almost was not able to leave Kiamaiko. I had a show at K24, Gen Z Manifesto. I couldn't make it to that show because things were so bad. Walituletea hadi gari ya kuwasha. You know that gari ya maji kutuwasha?
Yeah.
At 7 p.m., that car is in Kiamaiko community. We had tear gas. You know, Kiamaiko has many goats. Even the goats were hatching. Like, it was bad.
Because it's
community mzima inakaa ni kama ward. Kila mtu ni hachu. Watoto, wamama, wazee. Because they turned now the war inside the community. Everybody sort of retreated back into safety places in the community, but they still were coming to tear gas us. And the question we kept asking ourselves is, all this for demanding missing people? Something is wrong somewhere.
Very wrong.
How long were the police present at Kiamaiko going into the evening? Because you've mentioned, police being present at 7:30. How was the night? And also the police response to the two that were shot and the wounded.
They stayed there all day from 9 a.m. because they knew we were coming to the protest. My friend was joking that they've really had They have earned their pay that day. They have worked all day. They're very tired today because community members were seeing that this is probably the last time we are fighting for Zizo like this. So we have to put our best foot forward. We have to know that we really need him, dead or alive, at this particular point. If they've killed him, let them then give us the body to bury, which would be very unfortunate. But hospital ward community cannot fathom finding Kerry dead at this particular time because he's not a criminal. He's never been a criminal. And we're just hoping to still find him alive. We're hoping wherever he is, he's safe and sound.
So, Kerry, according to the reports, was last captured on CCTV on June 20th in Mwehoko, Githurai.
Yes.
So tell us about Macmillan Kerry. You mentioned, I know he's a youth leader, he's a Christian, he's all. What does Kerry do? Who is he? How old is he? You've known him for very many years. What does he do in the community?
Kerry is 30 years old. Ana coach vijana mambo ya leadership mtaani. He's one of those political mobilizers in the community. If any political leader would like support of young people from my ward, they know you need to talk to Kerry. He's a very good mobilizer. He's a very good youth leader. In fact, he's been nicknamed chair for the young people. And even as we were protesting, watu walikuwa wanasema tunataka chair. He runs a small foundation in the community that does some feeding programs. And I've known him for 30 years, as I have told. He's my age mate. We've grown up. The thing about growing up in Mathare is mnajuana all your lives. So you can tell someone's record. And we've never had any issue with Kerry. Even young people who, quote unquote, wanaweza kuwa wahalifu, wanasema Kerry hajawahi fanya kitu ambayo inaweza mweka kwa noma ana abductiwa. So hatuelewi kwa nini Kerry amekuwa missing for 11 days.
On this particular day, when the CCTV captured him, who did he last talk to? Who had he talked to that day? Had he talked to somebody that evening? Did people know like where he was leaving to go to?
He was leaving to come to Mathare. And a lot of young people who get some little bit of money, you just want a little bit of dignity in terms of housing. So you do get a better house, but your life is still very much based in Mathare. So that was Kerry. And he was coming to Mathare when he left his house. He talked to one of the Mathare community members saying, I'm coming. And that boy is actually very afraid because he's like, I'm the last person who Kerry talked to. So if they're tracing, they are going to find that we talked, and he told me that he was coming to Mathare. But Mama Kerry had taken an offering to church to celebrate 30 years of Kerry. And the father had asked her, please come with Kerry so that we can pray together to bless this offering and bless Kerry. And it was then that Kerry has never been found again. So Mama Kerry is actually looking for Kerry to take to church.
Was it his birthday?
Yes, it was his birthday. But it was also, they're very devout Christians. It was also just to go and celebrate that this young man has grown up in Mathare and is now 30 years old. It just felt like that's something that needed to...
It's an achievement.
Thanksgiving.
And he's big in the community.
Yeah.
We'll take a break. When we come back, tell us about Zizo. Again, his story as well. Like, let's hear who this Abdulaziz Dubamolu is. What is he? What does he do? How well known is he in the community? We've seen the protesters saying there, tunataka Zizu where too. And then also he'll tell us about Olo. And we'll see. So what is it about these three people that would make them just disappear like that? Right? So we're having a conversation with Wanjiru. She's a co-founder of the Mathare Social Justice Network. She's here today to tell us about these protests that are happening in Mathare and Kiamaiko all of yesterday that ended up with 2 people shot dead and others injured just because they were protesting the disappearance of some of their community members. We'll be back shortly. We continue our conversation with Wanjiru from the Mathare Social Justice Network on what's happening in that community. 3 young people are missing. Their whereabouts unknown. The community comes out yesterday in protest and demanding to know their whereabouts. The police respond, tear gas followed by live ammunition used. 2 people end up dead, others injured. And the people who are missing are basically Abdulaziz Dubamolu, popularly known as Zizu, Macmillan Carey, Maxi, Michael Olo. You've told us about Carey. He's a guy that you know. He's 30. He's grown up in Mathare. He moved out. He was now living in Mwihoko. On this particular day, he was coming back to Mathare like he normally does. His mother was preparing to celebrate his 30th birthday. He just disappears. CCTV just shows him locking his door and walking away. In fact, we even have that footage and we aired it on TV. Who's Zizu? And who's Olo?
Zizo and Olo are also community members from Mathare who also have some form of influence in the community, especially by how they engage with people. Zizo, you can tell, he's very loved by the Kiamaiko community because he gives solidarity to the community members, and he has employed about 100 young people in the Mathare community and especially in Kiamaiko. So his disappearance then means that 100 young people are going to lose their livelihoods. So they have to obviously come out and fight for Zizo. Kando na hiyo, community members know him as a very... Zizo, the shosho that was speaking yesterday was like, Zizo never passed me by. He always came and said hi to me and bought me lunch even for 200, which is not something that you see even with political leaders in that community. And also just notice the silence of the political leaders from Mathare community. I mean, this has been community bearing its issues by their own. Yet we do have political representatives who are nowhere to be seen on this side. So that is the much I know about Zizo. I did not know him at a personal level. I got to interact with him during this process of Carey having gone missing. And I know that he does have 2 kids and his wife is heavily pregnant. She was at the presser yesterday. She could not speak. But kuna huzuni sana wa kumpoteza Zizo kwa Kiamaiko community. About Olo is also someone I do not know at a personal level, but I know that his community at Utali was also demonstrating. Actually, they did come out. We were not able to link and come together the way we did with Marie and Kiarie and Abdulaziz. We wish we would have been able to do that, even though we did call for his release as well during our presses. And he's also a community leader, so we can see a trend of people who have some sort of voice in the community being picked and being disappeared ahead of an election year. So this is actually something very concerning.
It really is. And I wanted to talk about, one, how we can help make sure that Abdulaziz and Macmillan and Michael are found, right? And that we have an answer to this. But there's also the larger issue of safety in informal settlements and how the state moves in informal settlements. And Njenga Njogu said that Kiaria's mom might be saying something that in some hoods there is a mother who can say, Alhamdulillah, huyu wangu amefika 30. Yeah. Maybe it was a prayer that akifika 30, God, I will give you my offering. There are people who might not understand why it is almost a miracle for a young man to kufika 30. Please explain for people who just don't have context.
One of the reasons we co-founded the Mathare Social Justice Center is because of the normalization of police killings in our community. For a long time, I was in boarding school. And this one holiday, when I finished high school, I was now very much in the community. And I could not believe the brutality that my community was going through. 5 people would be shot dead in a day. And that's just one area of Mathare. In another area of Mathare, in another area of Mathare, in another area of Mathare. We have 6 wards. So when we'd come together as friends, we are talking about what happened in our specific wards. And we're like, what? This is how they are killing us? So we decided to not normalize this and started the Mathare Social Justice Center and did, I think, the first ever report on police brutality in Kenya and police killings. That report documented 803 police killings in Kenya. And I think it shifted how the media reports about police brutality. When you're a woman in Mathare, you give birth to a boy, your heart breaks. You start thinking about how your child is going to survive in this ghetto as a male. Because 16, 17, 18, 14, 15, our data has as young as 12-year-olds, excuse me, being victims of police brutality. Because when you're born in the ghetto, you are an automatic criminal. You have been criminalized because you've been born into poverty. So the government already has this stereotype of ghetto youth. And they, in fact, before the protest, I was telling some of my friends, it's going to be bad because they have already stereotyped ghetto youth. And ghetto youth are coming out to demand justice for fellow ghetto youth. They are going to be very brutal on us as opposed to maybe protest in the CBD. This was before the Gen Z movement. So Mathare is not new to killer cops. It's always one after another, after another, after another. It's not new to enforce disappearances. Kumekuwa na Subaru za Mambaru, vijana wanaekwa kwa boot, wanakuwa disappeared. Mathare women in particular, they have always fought. They have always fought for an end to enforce disappearances. Wameenda police station mara mingi sana kuitisha vijana ambao wameekwa kwa boat wakakuwa disappeared. We have the notorious killer cop Ahmed Rashid. I think the nation saw him shooting two men in Isli. So since the arrest of Ahmed Rashid, police brutality has sort of gone down in Mathare. There has not been as many cases of police killings since Rashid is in court. But now we are seeing a return to abductions. We are seeing a return to a trend that was already winning in Mathare, which is why we are up in arms, because we cannot afford another trend of abductions and killings and disappearances in this community again. We've had enough. We are tired. Tumechoka kuandamana, tumechoka even these pressers, we are tired of raising our voices about this police brutality. We're tired of burying our dead in our own country. Kama vijana wamefanya makosa, tunasema katiba itekelezwe. Kwani jela ni za nini? Yeah, if they are found to have broken the law in any way, please arrest them. And I also want to point out to something I noticed. When we had Kazi kwa Vijana, I don't know if you remember that NYS gig, where young people would clean the community and get some chums every Saturday. Mathare has never been safer. Excuse me. Zana had too much tear.
No, it's okay.
It's,
I mean, and we'll even go back to that, but endelea tu. Nasa kunywa maji or something.
So, in this Kazi kwa Vijana, as MSJC, we are monitoring police brutality, yeah? And in that period, there was not a single case of police brutality. Not a single case. My mom has a shop in Mathare, and guys would come and take unachukua vitu kama ni unga, kama ni mchele, kama ni sukari, kalikuwa na kitabu. Mkilipwa on Saturday, unakama una clear debt, unaanza tena Monday. So everybody was eating good. Watu walikuwa wanapiga luku, wanaka smart. Mathare was peaceful. There was no case of insecurity. Hata handbags were not being snatched. People had money. There was no reason to risk their lives. And then NYS billion was stolen. I'll never let this go. I'll never forget. I'll never forgive. NYS billions were stolen in January, February, a month that has 28 days. We documented 14 cases of police brutality. 14 young people were shot dead after NYS monies were stolen. So you can connect the dots.
Yeah, it is.
You can connect the dots.
Thank you so much, Wanjira, for putting into context things that seem isolated, and that often are not explainable, because those are exactly the threads that we need. And I would love to even see like more data on what you've talked about, like Rashid gets arrested and is going through the justice system, and you see less police brutality. People have a little money in their pockets, wakona kitu to look forward to on Saturday, that kampesa kata ding, and you see cases of police brutality also, go down significantly. these are the things that sometimes, you try to explain to people, but, 1 + 1 is just not adding up. But I want to go back to, you've mentioned how unsafe it is for a young man to grow up in Mathare, and why Kiari's mom was probably like, 30, we have to give offering for this. But there's also how the state reacts during times of maandamano, during any given time. Hata jana usiku umesema Mathare yote mlikuwa mnakula tear gas for the whole night. Just walk us through those experiences as well. Living in an informal settlement anywhere in this country, na bahati mbaya kukuwe na someone anasakwa, there's an operation or something of the sort, or kuna maandamano. What does that look like?
This always happens in Mathare, and I would hate to normalize it, that kukikuwa na maandamano ama protest, polisi lazima wakuje ku crack down on community members. Lazima wakuje kutupa tear gas kwa nyumba. And this is not just a Mathare case alone. This also happened in Githurai. This also happened in Pipeline, where people are congested. I mean, it's very unlawful. If sisi tulikuwa tunasikia hivyo, hii community iko na watoto, iko na wajawazito, iko na wazee, walikuwa wanafilaje? It's almost like the state has decided to make enemies of its people. It's almost like we by the virtue of being slum dwellers, by the virtue of living in informalized settlements, we are such an eyesore. We have been criminalized.
You're a criminal.
So ndio maana tunasema katiba itekelezwe. There's such an unequal application of the law. In the ghetto, you have already been sentenced. Polisi ashakuwa judge na executioner. Life yako iko kwa mkono yake. That's why they could shoot so blatantly. Headshot. That is a policeman who knows that he's aiming to kill you. A headshot is not deterring. It's not even shoot them in the leg.
No.
It's a headshot to take you out. And can you just imagine what the family of this man is going through? The man was not a criminal. He was not even protesting. Yeye alikuwa na go about his business. Akaona a pregnant woman, akasema wacha nimsaidie. And in the process, a headshot that takes his life there and then. So our leaders also need to pay attention to what happens in informalized settlements. There's no way Kenya is going to change if the people of Mathare and Githurai and Kibera and Dandora and Kariobangi and Korokocho still continue to be treated like second-class citizens. We love to say that no one is free until everyone is free. And this is true. Until the people of Mathare are free, totally free, you will continue to talk about injustices in this country. You will continue to talk about theft. You'll continue to talk about everything that is wrong with governance. Because the people of Mathare have to eat, have to drink, have kids to raise. They have all of this. And instead of the government ensuring that these very vulnerable communities are dignified, we do have a budget to dignify our people. Kila mara tunaona bilioni za pesa zinaibiwa kila mara. Even just 1 billion would do so much changes in the Mathare community. Na ndio maana watu wanakasirika. Tunaona mwizi wa simu anapigwa risasi, anakufa. But waizi wa mabilioni, they even go ahead to be governors. They are above the law. The most they can do is offer an apology to the court. Well, I'm sorry, it will not happen again. But come to Mathare, snatch a handbag, you pay with your life. So we're also rejecting this unequal application of the law. If we bear the identity of Kenya, it shouldn't matter where you come from. Your rights must be respected as a Kenyan citizen. You are just as Kenyan as any other Kenyan, whether unaishi kwa nyumba ya matope, ama ya mabati, ama unaishi kwa bungalow. Sisi wote ni wa Kenya.
Sisi wote ni binadamu. Now, I hear what you say about the people of Mathare like constantly coming to raise these issues. You said women have protested many times seeking the release or the production of their sons who have just been arrested. And some never return.
Yeah.
Some have just, moved on into getting to a level of acceptance that this person disappeared.
Yeah.
I shall never see them again. I will not even get to be able to know whether they died or they're alive, to bury them or so on and so forth. That is the life of very many people in these informal settlements. Are they subjugated to that level where they're at a point of giving up? Have they given up? Or is there, because now you run the social justice network, is there conversation within the community of a way towards a solution? You've said one of the things is that leadership elevates the conversation around Mathare and other areas, that this is actually what happens. This is the daily life of an ordinary teenager in Mathare, the ordinary life of an ordinary youth, elderly person in Mathare. Is there a concerted effort of actually elevating this conversation to the national level?
I think MP Babu Owino is one of the leaders, elected leaders we have seen come to be in solidarity with our community. He's helped us file a habeas corpus for the production of Abdulaziz Zizo, and we are also working on one for Macmillan, Kiaje, Mugo, and of course Olo at the end of the day. But I wouldn't say that there is a national concerted effort to better the conditions of the people of Mathare or Githurai, because police as an institution needs to be reformed, not just Mathare police. I mean, we've seen how police have been conducting themselves over the past 2 years since the Gen Z protest. Police as an institution needs to be, and I am very serious when I say this, disbanded. We need to start again. We need a police service that loves the people of Kenya, wants to serve the people of Kenya, respects the people of Kenya, upholds the Kenyan constitution, because the current the current police service that we have, they have been trained to serve political elites and to treat the ordinary Kenyan citizen as enemies of the people. And we have seen this across the board, not just in Mathare. We've seen this happening all over the country. So it is a national concern that our police have sort of diverted from their mandate to ensure the safety of every other Kenyan citizen to actually being the very reason Kenyans are dying for raising their voices. We cannot trust police to protect us anymore. Na jana kuna polisi alikuwa ananiambia, we are also parents, we feel your pain. I'm like, no you don't. No you do not. No you do not.
Amwelewi.
No.
What I'm asking, Wanjira, you see, when it comes to, for example, the issues of, say, Mathare, Mukuru, those issues are elevated by civil society actors such as yourself, who are residents in Mukuru, who've grown up in Mukuru. Now, and the Mukuru residents, Mathare residents, support you in the work that you do. Do the Mathare residents get to a level where they say, we are electing our own, so that they can go and tell our story and go and bring the change that we want? Do we have MPs who have been raised and lived in Mathare, becoming Mathare MP, or in Mukuru, becoming the whichever Embakasi MP? Do we have MCAs who've grown up here, who are elected by the community to go and raise these issues beyond the community?
That's a good question. Now, this is exactly why I am getting into elective politics. I have been a community organizer and activist for the past decade. I have seen the ills that are affecting our communities. I remember one time we did a petition and took it to our member of parliament, who's now done 2 terms. So the years I've been an activist are the years he's also been a member of parliament. Excuse me. And that petition never made it to parliament. He did not grow up in Mathare. He does not intimately understand the issues of Mathare. But money politics are also something that really, really disorients our processes in Mathare. Vijana wa Mathare hawana kitu. Ukikuja uwapatie do, they are very easily convinced to vote for you, which is a pattern we are now changing by our massive political education sessions. We actually made the decision, excuse me, if you remember, I wanted to run for Mathare Member of Parliament because I was like, I can actually do a good job. Our Member of Parliament, besides getting his monthly a salary and 100 million every year, we cannot see what he's doing to our community. So mimi kama mtoto wa Mathare nitajitokeza and shake it. And then I realized I do not have the financial muscle to do this. I do not even have the capacity of violence it probably requires to do this. I'm a young woman. I'm vulnerable in that state. So we decided we are going to start changing the politics of Kenya from the grassroots. And I will start as a member of county assembly from Hospital Ward, where Kiamaiko comes from. I'm asking my community to give me their vote so that these issues, I can have more power as opposed to an activist. Now I am an elected representative of the people. There will be no killings in my reign, in my community. There will be no enforced abductions or disappearances. If have to transfer the current police in that area, they will be transferred. We need sanity, we need constitution implemented, and we need the rule of law. So we decided to start there at the lowest form of representation, so that first of all, we can talk amongst ourselves and come to an agreement that for Mathare to change, the people of Mathare need to take political leadership so that they can highlight and bring changes to the things that affect us. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's okay.
As
We
a community.
Yeah.
So this is exactly why we are organizing to now take political power.
I quite like that. Moving from activism, but still now playing a very active role in terms of what shifts the needle to the reality of the people in Mathare. Sorry, Mariam, I cut you short.
No, it's okay. I just wanted to interrogate how you can guarantee as member of county assembly that there won't be enforced disappearances and abductions and killings, given that members of county assembly don't oversight the police. Neither do they have jurisdiction over the police service.
Yeah, but they are very respected, excuse me, by the police in that particular jurisdiction. And my goal is actually to empower my community so much that they do not stand any form of violation or degradation or indignation. Power lies with the people. So we need to make the people so powerful that you cannot kill one of them or abduct one of them and go scot-free. My leadership will be taking back power to the people for real.
There's a comment from one of our fixers who wants you to clarify something that you said about Kiamaiko, him being a community mobilizer for politicians who want crowds, and therein maybe could be the problem.
Kiamaiko has mainly worked with our member of county assembly as presently, who is a UDA MCA right now. His name is Mark Thiga. So UDA is allied to the ruling party. So therein lies the problem. Why would Maxi be missing while he's working with the member of county assembly, who is an MCA in United Democratic Alliance Party? It doesn't make sense to us.
Yeah. And to be fair, I think even if he's working with whatever political outfit, political outfit for himself, for who,
he has every right.
He has every right.
He does.
As we close the conversation, perhaps we'll ask how we here at Fixing the Nation, everyone who's watching, who's listening, can amplify, and what we can do to help find Macmillan and Abdulaziz and Michael.
Please tweet with the hashtag #FreeKiamaiko and demand the implementation of the Constitution. The problem we are having right now in Kenya is that there is a departure to constitutionalism and the rule of law. Everybody needs to push that the Constitution of Kenya is implemented. Wahalifu ni wengi na wengi wao wako kwa serikali na tunajua hivyo, but we don't see them being disappeared and shot and abducted and all that. Why should we let this happen to fellow Kenyan citizens? So we need to raise our voices, and I want us to remember next year is an election year. Excuse me. Next year being an election year, we have to remember what happened in Tanzania and what happened in Uganda. And we have to ensure that Kenya remains the democracy that it prides itself to be. And we can only do that when our constitution is respected and upheld. Tupiganie katiba itekelezwe. And that has been our fight for the past decade, to tekeleze katiba. We do have a law, a social contract between we, the Kenyan citizens, and the government of Kenya, who are elected from ourselves as representatives. They're not separate from the people of Kenya, so they do not wield any superior powers than we do. Nile tumewa gawia power yetu wakwe representatives. They have no right to kill us or abduct us. I remember my comrade Davis Lichuma, and see him in the hospital. They have traumatized Lichuma such that he cannot even speak analia to. The eve of the protest, I was with Lichuma in Mathare na nikamuuliza kesho tunatokea, kusema Wanjira tutakosaje kutokea, waliwa our comrades, tunaenda tu kukumbuka, tunaenda kulay flowers, tupatane tao. So he's always been courageous. He's always been about the Kenyan constitution, but the retaliation of the Kenyan state in how they responded to Lichuma, we need to demand accountability. It's not enough that they dumped him by the roadside and we don't even know what they have done to him, but we need to demand accountability, and it should worry us that the PS of Interior anakuja kutambia people are abducting themselves. Maxi cannot be sleeping for 11 days. Abdulaziz cannot be sleeping for 11 days. Nobody in their right senses is going to self-abduct themselves. In this Kenya Kwanza regime, things are bad. So to ensure kwamba katiba imekuwa respected, kila mtu tuapush, tutekeleze katiba. Hata kama mtu amefanya nini, ashikwe, tukwe na court processes.
Follow the rule of law.
Yes.
Kitivo is saying that he'd like to support, I think, your foundation, I guess it says, Mathare Social Justice Network.
Yes.
How would they do that? How can they reach the Social Justice Network?
Should I send him a till or something, or pay bill? I mean, we do need support. We have a lot of initiatives that
well, he says he has
support.
10,000 shillings to support you with, so you can say the till number if you have it right now.
I have to check my phone.
We'll give it right after this break. Yeah. We have to take a break. Thank you very much. Wanjiru is the co-founder of the Mathare Social Justice Network. They and others have been pushing for equity and justice in this Mathare area, plus others in the informal settlements of Nairobi. Yesterday, they came out to demand the release of 3 people who've gone missing. Their whereabouts unknown. 3 people. 2 people ended up being shot dead. Others were injured. Justice must be done. We'll be back shortly with another conversation. It's coming up to 9 a.m.